All right, welcome back to Happy Hour with Heather and Guest. This is episode number 108. I'm that other dude, Andrew, and as always, I'm joined by Heather.
Hello.
And today we are, we've covered Slow Green Thing before on the show, and we've interviewed them as a band, and they were gracious enough to ask us to review their latest record. So today is going to be a review of the record, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Wetterwarte, Waltherstrasse, I think.
And
So,
in case you don't know, they're from Germany. And
yes, they're from Dresden, Germany. Um, and I believe the record will be released next week, I think.
the 29th,
The
March
20,
29th.
yeah, I think I just saw they're doing a record release uh, party that they're promoting on social media, which might be the 24th, but it could be the 29th. I may have just misread it. So, either way, today we're going to talk about the album. It has 6 tracks in total, and yeah. So with the title, I looked it up, and I guess Wetterwarte, which I hope I'm pronouncing correctly, means weather station in German, and Waltherstrasse is Walter Street. So, and it's a street, I guess, in Dresden. So I'm guessing perhaps literally it means the weather station on Walter Street, but it could symbolize something, or there could be a metaphor in there, or it could be slang. For all I know, I couldn't find anything other than just the literal translation of it. So that's the title of the album. What's also interesting is, like with Led Zeppelin, Led Zeppelin's catalog began with Led Zeppelin 1, Led Zeppelin 2, Led Zeppelin 3, then the untitled fourth album. Now, I'm pretty sure Slow Green Thing's first 3 albums are 1, 2, and 3, and then they have Amygdala. So it's a similar trajectory where they've begun breaking away from the numeric values. So I'm guessing this would be, if they're similar to Led Zeppelin, Amygdala would be their untitled fourth album, and this one would be their Houses of the Holy. But perhaps I'm reaching in making.
Oh, and
So
I'm wearing my Slow Green Thing
you
t-shirt.
are, yes. My Slow Green Thing T-shirt that Heather actually got for me is dirty. Otherwise, I'd be wearing it as well. But
And
I was
I
wearing
thought,
it. Go on.
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say I wore mine when we interviewed them. So
Yes. Yeah. And I think I remember I don't know if I'm getting this mixed up with someone else that we talked to, but I think I remember them talking about their recording studio. And did that tie into the name of their album?
it may
Like
be.
where it
I
was
mean,
recorded?
perhaps. I don't remember
Yeah, unless I'm mixing that up with someone else.
it. I don't remember that, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. Um,
Yeah.
I simply just use the internet to try and put it into the
Yeah.
Google Translate. So
Yeah.
it probably makes sense that it's where they recorded. Um, but yeah, so Slow Green Thing, Wetterwarte, Waltherstrasse. Right now, I'm sure there's some Germans listening to this laughing at my pronunciation. That's okay. Um, and then the album cover was the same artist who had done Amygdala. I think I recall them saying that. And this one was interesting because it's like a playing card in that it's opposite sides. So you've got the one side, the green side, and then there's like a purple side. Um, and the green side looks like it's falcons, I think. Um, and then the hold on, I want to check my notes. Yeah, the green side was falcons, and then the other side looks there's a writing quill, and then it looks like somebody with their head in their hands, which then, like a hall of mirrors, has a head in their hands, has a head in their hands, and it just goes on to infinity and gets smaller. Um, so it was interesting because when I downloaded the album, or not that, when I put it into iTunes, it split it into two albums. So I don't know if this album is meant to be like two sides of the same coin type thing, where half of the themes are in one sort of camp and then the other half are in another. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, and on the record, it's the first 3 songs and then the second 3 songs, so I
yeah,
think it seems like there is a distinction between the first 3 songs and the second 3
yeah.
songs.
Um, did you ever hear of the documentary Room 237?
I'm
There's
not sure.
it's there is a documentary that was made about the movie The Shining, and it's
Okay.
all these people with these conspiracy theories about what certain things in the movie mean. Like one of the theories is like it talks about the moon landing being fake. Like all like what room 237 symbolizes, like what the pattern on the carpet symbol. It's really interesting because I think a lot of people find it fascinating, but then you hear like Stephen King gives his 2 cents, and one of Kubrick's assistants gives his 2 cents and talks about how it's all like hogwash. Um, that they're finding patterns and things that have no meaning. Um, so there was a fine line when I was looking at the album cover or trying to figure what out, what things might mean. That I was like, am I going into Room 237 territory where I'm just making up stuff that's clearly not there? Um, but that was half the fun, like trying to find like hidden meanings and things like that. Um, so that's pretty much it for what I have for the title and the cover art. And I guess we could get into the first track is called I Thought I Would Not. It's the lead track off the album. What were your thoughts on I Thought I Would Not?
I thought I would not. So, one of the most kick-ass bands on the planet is releasing a new record March 29th, and I'm super excited to talk about it with you today. We don't do this a lot, but we're going to break it down song by song. The level of excitement I had when I heard the first chord, I was like, hell yeah, let's go. I'm so happy they included the lyrics. To me, the whole experience of listening to the music and then following along with the lyrics, to me, is that makes it such a more pleasant experience. And the pacing of the song is pretty fast, and then after the first verse they slow it down. Then the second verse is at a faster pace again. One thing I noticed is the first 2 verses is I am the fire in your eyes. I am the reason for your lies. And the third verse is I feel. I feel the light and it hurts day by day. I feel so torn, feel high and low. And that the last verse, take away this fear, give me the strength to stay the same, clouds shall disappear, enlightenment is my only aim. I thought I would not die again. And then the title of the song is I Thought I Would Not. And the end of the song is I thought I would not die again. And they repeat it. I thought I would not die again. And then it kind of fades out.
Well, it's funny because I have written down in my notes I am versus I feel. So
Ah,
yes. So I thought I did lyrical analysis for two of the songs that I felt go hand in hand with each other. And the first one was I Thought I Would Not. Um, so in terms of the music, I got hooked by the second half of it at about 3 minutes and 20 seconds. It goes into a riff that, like with Amygdala, I was like clobbered over the head and dragged into the cave with this song, and was like, all right, well, this is my life now. I'm gonna be part of this movement. Um, and yeah, I got the sense this song, the lyrics reminded me of like like anxiety or OCD from the point of view of the anxiety. So the opening two stanzas, I am the fire in your eyes, I'm the reason for your lies, I'm the spike piercing your mind. It's sort of like the effects of when you're in the throes of an anxiety attack. That's sort of what it's like. Um, and as you pointed out in the third stanza, I feel the light and it hurts day by day. I feel so torn high and low. I know the skills calm down and take a breath. It really sounds like somebody trying to use coping mechanisms to deal with an unfortunate situation. Um, so yeah, I got the sense that this is very much, for me at least personally, it was like, oh, this is what an OCD attack feels like. Um, I'm seeing things that aren't represented clearly. I'm looking at things that make me feel uncomfortable, and I can't really control it. So it's from the perspective of the anxiety, and then it's how I feel. Um, I really dug how they chose to use the word enlightenment. It's a sort of very much a Buddhist thing. Like I need to get to a point where I'm just enlightened and I can see things clearly. So that was my takeaway on I Thought I Would Not. The riff is really the song is really good. I personally got sucked in around 3 minutes and 20 seconds. That's when the shoe dropped and I was like, all right, I'm in. But yeah, but that was my takeaway from it. And then next up was The Sunshine in Me.
The Sunshine in Me. I like how it starts out with the light taps on the cymbals, and then it gradually progresses into massive heaviness. The first verse of the vocals are just anthemic, and I really love the different sounds with the percussion throughout the song. I also really like that the setup to the second verse. And then we get that signature slow green thing guitar riff. I recognize that guitar sound from their last album, and here it is again. That amazing guitar riff that grabs you and sucks you in. And really, there's nothing quite like it.
Yeah, I didn't review the lyrics for this one, but it was interesting because this one starts out with sort of a spacey psychedelic feel, which I felt was a little bit of a departure from what I'm used to with their sound, which was really cool because I was like, oh, they're branching off into some new territory. And then I wrote, and then biggity bam, sweet riffage. So they go into their trademark sound. Um, and then for chorus, I just wrote, oh my God, for the chorus. So I guess the chorus really was something. And then they played around in both the first two songs with like the tempo changes. Um, so that was really cool. But I felt like this was the first time that they've really dabbled in that psychedelic feel, um, that I'm sure has been on some of their previous albums, but I just didn't remember it being so front and center. So that was really cool. And then we've got Tombstones in My Eyes.
This song is more subdued and introspective. They have a video of the song on YouTube. I really recommend watching it. You can see the instruments up close. And when I watched it, I got a good sense of the sounds I was hearing and how it looks when it's being played. It was almost like I was in the studio with them. The style these guys have is really something. They are very stylish.
Yeah, so Tombstones in My Eyes, I wrote bongos, which may or may not have been used, but that's what I thought of. with the drum. You and I had talked before we started recording that there was an instrument that they used to record some of the drums, which I couldn't remember
Yeah,
what it was.
you can see it in the video. Yeah, yeah.
Um, and it was I wrote cool psychedelic into the regular riff. And by regular riff, I mean the Slow Green Thing trademark sound. Um, so yeah, the first side of the album is phenomenal with those three songs. I'm sure if I spent time putting it through the 2-3-7 paces, I could find, connections between the three or themes or something like that. But I will leave that to you, to the listener. Um, if we go over to side number 2, then the first track is Thousand Deaths.
And then, yeah, it's Thousand Deaths, and then they have To Live in parentheses. The way that vocals are presented in this song really makes you want to stop and listen. They're at a higher register, and the guitars are at a lower tone. And I really like the juxtaposition. I was reminded of a song that my dad has about living free. The song has the lyric, but I think that I should have to die 1,000 deaths just to live free. And then the song closes with this incredible guitar work. There's an intensity to the drums that really drives everything home.
Yeah, I was more brief in I just wrote the most doom stoner song. So they, with a couple of exceptions of dabbling into some psychedelic, the album really stays within the framework of their trademark sound of like the stoner genre. This one I felt was the most representative of kind of the doom stoner crosshairs of like where they merge. But that's all I had for Thousand Deaths. I really Whispering Voices, the next track, was my favorite song, so I spent a lot more time on that one. So,
Yeah, this song. Yeah, this song really hit me. Those terrible voices inside your head that sabotage you. They try to undo all the good thoughts that you have. They make you question your worth, question your friendships, question your choices, question everything. Never feeling good enough. There's always someone better. It's like self-sabotage is my middle name. And this is what I love about Slow Green Thing. Not only are they incredible musicians, but their songs have meaning. We don't always have to feel alone. There's others out there that may be feeling something similar or having similar experiences. And this is the power that music has.
What's amazing too is English isn't their first language, and yet they're writing songs in English. It reminded me of I guess Nabokov wrote some of his books in English, and that was like his second or third language. And you think and you're like, oh, these could be considered some of the greatest books in literature of all time. So I'm always fascinated by people who can write in other languages and make the words come alive. Yeah, this one, if I'm not mistaken, it's really cool and subdued, and then really emotional. It's got harmonies and more bongos. I wrote it was a departure from their sound, and at the end, a singular riff which drums into a new riff. I wrote it was probably the most complex song. Did this one have the tapping solo?
The
I thought it
tapping.
like like where you're the diddly.
Oh, oh gosh, I don't remember.
I couldn't remember if it was that one or one of the previous ones. But yeah, this one, the lyrics, I wrote lyrics about gaslighting, self image, and endurance being really important. I really liked their use of personification. Every question is a meal, and symbolism. For those of you who are curious, yes, I did used to be an English teacher, so I am using some of my what I would teach the kids about lyric analysis and poetry and whatnot. But yeah, it was really frightening, and I felt like this was similar to the first song. Uh, I thought I would not. That one was sort of from the point of view of um, like anxiety and whatnot. And this one is from the person's point of view of not being able to trust what he or she is experiencing. Um, but I felt like those two songs definitely go together thematically and whatnot. Uh, I also like how, say, can you hear them whispering, breathing their words, disturbing silence, knowing they wait for their chance? But then towards the end, I feel very fine, good. There's just like this sort of, and I don't know if that's opposition in the face of all this turmoil, but it was very cool. Um, and like you said, they definitely have substance to their songs. All right, and then we've got the last track, I Am Universe.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the perfect song to end the record. It has that catchiness. And again, that signature slow green thing guitar riff that we've both identified. The build up to the end of the song is insane. And there's a definite sense of power. While the song is controlled, I wondered what it would sound like if these guys just let loose and went all out. And you kind of get a sense of that at the end of the song. Whatever universe they are in, that's the universe that I want to be in. And I want to mention that their album's available. They have it a pre-sale on Bandcamp and also on Cosmic Peddler's website. I checked, there's 19 copies available. And if you're in the USA, this would be the place to get one. Run to the site and pick it up. Thank you. And I want to take the time to thank Slow Green Thing. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us about your album and sending the music to us to review. It was a great pleasure, and I can't recommend this album enough.
Definitely. I mean, I can't think of like I've enjoyed all of their albums. Like I can't think that there's an album where I'm like, oh yeah, you should pick up 1 and 2 and Amygdala, but you don't really need 3. Um, and it's also really cool that they are continuing to incorporate nuances into the songs. Like there is still that trademark Slow Green Thing sound, um, but they are expanding their horizons a little bit. And yeah, let me echo what Heather said. We're really grateful that you have included us in this journey. Um, to review your music or talk with you or just be part of this experience. Um, you're the ones making this music, and we get to sort of throw in our 2 cents of what we like about it. So it's a very cool symbiotic relationship, and I'm grateful just to be part of it. So thank you. And yeah, and for the rest of you out there, go just listen to Slow Green Thing. Stop what you're doing, unless you're like, in the middle of driving or something. Wait till you get home, then listen to Slow Green Thing.
Yeah, this album is amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, in Slow Green Thing, and thank you, Heather. And we will be back next week.